is making a comeback in the Swan River region, Duck Porcupine Mountains near Swan River. This is something our next guest has talked about, and this is a way of life. From the Pine Creek First Nation, Derek Nepenak is chief, and he joins us live on 680 CJOB. Chief Nepenak, good to talk to you again. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on again, Richard. Appreciate it.
How important is the moose hunt to your peoples and the peoples, our First Peoples, our Indigenous peoples in Western Manitoba?
Well, I don't know if there's enough words I could put to it, Richard, to really emphasize how important or how important this moose hunt has always been to us year by year. It's been there for generations upon generations. It's a foundation of our culture. It's a big part of our language. And, the rejuvenation of the moose population is going to, I think, help us in our pathway of reconciliation, in our own healing as a community. So it's so vital to who we are.
So this is a limited hunt starting on the 31st of October. Give us some background here, because as a peoples, you were first to withdraw and say that this is in trouble some years ago, and then government followed along. Give us a bit of a history lesson here.
Yeah, I think it's we go back a little more than a decade. We saw a steep decline in the moose population, and there's a number of different factors why that was happening. Of course, aggressive logging on Duck Mountain didn't help because it affected habitat that the moose were thriving in earlier. So when the population went down, we decided to hunt in other areas and to leave the Duck Mountain alone for a time to allow the population to rebound. And we're seeing that in recent years. The moose population is healthy once again, and we believe that there's an opportunity now to start engaging in a limited hunt.
So when it comes to the hunt, are Indigenous hunters given priority? Is it open season? How will it work?
I think one of the very significant evolutions of the discussion has been the willingness of both the province of Manitoba and Indigenous communities to come together and make concessions and to identify the priority allocation of what is available. And, kudos to Manitoba, because they recognize that the sustenance hunting of Indigenous people takes priority because it is a treaty right to hunt in that area. It's critical that we bring the healthy moose meat home to our families for our own well-being, for our own health. So, Manitoba has recognized the priority allocation for sustenance Indigenous hunting, and that's a huge step forward in terms of moving towards a shared management environment on moose.
Is that part of the story that we need to recognize? Obviously, we're talking about the moose hunt, but as I listen to you speak, how your people discovered the situation, made that call on your own, worked with the province to say this is an issue, and then again have worked together with the province to bring the hunt back, and again giving those Indigenous hunters priority. To me, this sounds like, my goodness, dare I say, collaboration that we don't necessarily see between these two organizations.
I think that's a very, very keen observation you're making. We're seeing an evolution of the discussion. The assertion of the treaty right doesn't mean that we have a free-for-all on Duck Mountain. It means that we work together to find out what is a sustainable yield year by year. How do we divide up that yield so that future generations of people can enjoy the moose hunt? And I think that is as significant as the rebound of the population is the evolution of the discussion. And I think unfortunately, that's a little bit missing in the Manitoba press release. I believe we made shared management decisions this year, through the work of our legal team, our policy people, and our council, of course. And this is a big step in the right direction.
Chief Nepenak, in spending some time there this spring and summer, I started to really appreciate what the elders had to say about the way of life and how we have to show our youth that way of life again to get them away from addictions and all the issues that we have seen and really over-reported on for so many years. For you, what does this mean? Were you a hunter at a young age, or is this something that has skipped some generations? A
lot of the cultural teachings have skipped a generation. A lot of us have been hunting for a long time, but the teachings that go along with it, the language, our Anishnaabe language that's spoken at the hunt, some of that skipped a generation. So really, as we go back out onto the mountain and we start hunting again, and I am a hunter, I've been out many times over my life and harvested some of the biggest animals on the continent. I appreciate what I know and what I've learned, and I thank my elders for teaching me in the ceremonies and the traditions and the customs so that I can show respect to the animal in the proper way. That's coming back now very strong as well, and it is helping us heal.
And you can do it on your own territory now. How cool is that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chief Nipinak, appreciate the time. Thanks so very much, Miigwech.
Thank you, Miigwech.
Derek Nipinak, Chief of Pine Creek First Nation, joining us here live on 680 CJOB. News anytime at cjob.com.
I haven't seen a lot of